All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, have a seat. Make sure you keep your voice up so everyone can hear. Oh, just have a seat. No, just have a seat. And just speak up so everyone can hear. All right, if you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Omar Hernandez.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez. Can you also just include your date of birth for us, please?
12/14/19.
You know Jesse Prado.
He's my brother-in-law. It's my wife's brother.
And who is your wife?
My wife is Monica Hernandez.
How did you first meet Jesse?
I met him when I started dating my wife. There was a 10-year celebration of a niece. That's when I officially met just about everybody.
In the family?
Family.
And where does the family mostly live? Like what part of Texas?
Dilly.
Okay. How far away is Dilly from San Antonio?
We're about an hour 15. It depends where we go, but generally an hour 15 now.
And what direction away from San Antonio?
South, between San Antonio and Laredo. We're halfway between those big cities.
And for people who might not be familiar with Dilly, can you tell the members of the jury what Dilly is like? Is it a big town, small town? What's going on there?
Dilly is a small town, about roughly 4,000 people. And it's mainly farm town, small town. Pretty much everybody knows everybody. Small little bitty town. It's very unique, but it's united. It's everybody knows everybody, and whenever there's somebody in need, we tend to do a lot of those like fundraisers and plate sales and all that stuff. So everybody jumps, takes the shirt off, almost for everybody. That's where I live. That's where I work there too.
And when you say Jesse and his family, are they those qualities that you're describing of Dilly? Are they also those qualities?
Yes.
So you met Jesse at like a birthday party, it sounds like. Do you remember about what year that was you met him?
I would say 2011, 11, 12, somewhere around there.
And you said you were dating your wife at the time. Y'all since then married, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. As you became closer with the family and you became part of the family yourself, were you familiar with the family dynamics?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many siblings Jesse has in total?
Yeah.
How many?
Well, at the time, the oldest was still with us, Mr. Cantu, Noel Cantu, and then there's Manuel, Jamie, my wife, then Jamie, and then Jesse.
Because I think it was five, right? 5 siblings. Okay. And you mentioned Wedo, the oldest.
Yes.
And that's what everybody called him, right?
Mhm.
Okay. In Dilly, is that where Wedo lived?
Yeah.
Okay. Describe for the jury, let's just say it's a random weekend and the family is getting together. Where would they go?
Wedo's house was the gathering. Wedo's house was the gathering point for everything, for barbecues. We spent so many afternoons in there. Barbecues, birthdays, Thanksgiving, Super Bowls. We're a sports family, so we gather outside with the sports and watch games, but that was the dynamic was that was the watching point of everything, events and all that.
And when it comes to Jesse and his father, were you familiar with that situation, that relationship or lack thereof?
Yeah, I had a general idea of it, and probably was.
At this point in the courtroom, the jury hears about Jesse's roots, a small Texas town where family and community defined everyday life. Witnesses describe a man shaped by loss, responsibility, and loyalty, painting a picture far removed from violence. The testimony invites jurors to look beyond the crime and into the life that came before it.
Wasn't around.
Did Weddle become kind of the father figure to Jesse?
He was a father. He was a father figure for a lot.
And Jesse's mother, at this time, was she still living? Or she still around? Like, what was her situation
Of
of Jesse?
the mom.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's still around.
But as far as getting together, though, people would go to Weddle's.
His house was the place.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you remember when he passed away? Do
Yes.
you remember what year it was?
21, 20, yeah, I think it was 21, 22.
And do you remember the circumstances of him passing away, like the health reasons and all that?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about the very details, the specifics, but I know that he was struggling in the hospital at one point. And then as soon as he came out, we got to see him, got to have a little conversation with them, and then went to the hospital, I believe. Then right after he got out, that's when he passed away.
And he wasn't, to be clear, he wasn't like elderly when he passed
Oh, no,
away.
no. He was 49, if I believe. 49.
And so did it come as a shock to the whole family when he passed?
It devastated us.
And how did it affect Jesse in particular?
He lost his father figure.
And when it came to him coming around, him being close to the rest of the family, did that have an effect on that as well?
It affects all of us.
And I think around that time, Jesse had already moved to San Antonio. And so he wasn't living in the Dilley area anymore.
He was living here in San Antonio.
And in aftermath of him passing, his brother passing, was he coming to Dilley as often? Was he out there in San Antonio by himself? Not by himself, but away from the family.
He tried to come back and be there for the family. It was not the same.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. What did you notice in particular when it came to Jesse after that? You said he wasn't the same. How so?
He's a broken man. That's his father figure. His role model. So it's not only a carnal. It was a father figure.
And I think you threw in some Spanish there. Do you?
Oh, yeah. My apologies. Yeah, it was not only his actual brother, but he was the father figure.
Now, a few years after that, were you made aware that him and his wife Monette had become separated?
Time after that, yes.
And I imagine it might not have been from Jesse himself. He might have heard about it. And then at some point, though, did you talk to Jesse about him and Monette separating?
We had a few conversations.
Okay. And what do you recall about those conversations?
Your Honor, I'm just going to object to hearsay if he's going to refer to anything the defendant specifically told him.
Sustained.
Without going into the details, do you remember like where the first conversation happened?
I believe the first conversation was in my house.
And again, without going into the details, what was the general demeanor of Jesse? Like, how would you describe that for the jury when he was talking to you about him and Monette separating?
It was a broken man. Shattered.
And what do you, sorry, I keep interrupting. What was that last part?
Depressed.
Depressed. And what do you know about Jesse being his brother-in-law and his family, his immediate family, Monette and his children? Like, how would you describe that?
How I describe his family?
Yeah, and his, like, the family dynamic.
Well, what I saw over the years, it was a man who was always working for his family. job after job, different kind of jobs. He was always a hardworking man. A man of conviction, a provider. He always provided for his family, make sure that his family had everything that he could possibly give them. And that's how I know.
And we've heard some testimony already about Jesse being mostly a blue collar type of guy as far as the work he did. Are you familiar with the type of work that he did?
That's correct.
What kind of jobs did he do?
When I met him, he was he was in the towing. And then time on and off, some of the rake work, the oil field work, and then the towing again. That stuff that for the doors.
Locksmith?
Yeah, the locksmith. And yeah, those kind of jobs.
And do you remember when he was doing the oil field work that he had to actually leave his family for a time? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you know how that affected him?
Well, he was always working. He was always working. And then whenever he had days off, he would come down to Dilley and he would spend time with the family, his mom, brothers, everybody.
So I want to go back to when you were saying that you spoke with Jesse the first time about him and Monette separating. Was that the only conversation you had with him about that in particular, or just what he was going through in general around that time?
I believe there was one more phone call, one or two maybe. Yeah.
And those phone calls you had with him, without going into the details of the specifics that were said, would you characterize those phone calls as similar to the conversation y'all had at your house?
Yes.
And did you continue to feel like he was depressed when you spoke to him?
Yes.
As testimony continues, the focus shifts to Jesse's emotional state after personal tragedy. Depression, separation, and a renewed search for faith emerge as central themes. The courtroom grows quiet as the witness explains how grief changed him, raising difficult questions about how unseen struggles can quietly reshape a person's actions.
When you talked to him, did y'all discuss your faith?
Absolutely.
And what do you know about Jesse regarding his own personal journey with his faith?
During this particular time, we had these conversations related to
I'm gonna object to hearsay again, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Judge, I would offer this more for the effect on the listener regarding his opinion on the faith of Jesse.
Sustained.
So, Mr. Hernandez, without going into like exactly what was said, all right, what do you know about his journey regarding faith? Was he, let's just go back maybe in time, is his family in general a family that practices Christianity?
yes,
So I imagine he was probably raised in the church as far as you're aware.
yes.
At some point, though, are you aware that he stopped going to church or not being as religious?
Yes.
And what do you know about around this time we're talking about regarding his faith?
He made a comeback.
How so?
Like the conversations that we had without going into details, it was about the faith, or coming to God and get closer, establish a relationship.
And is that also something that have recently gone through yourself, becoming faithful again?
Yeah. At the time I was like probably to my third year, I became a Christian. I met God a couple of years back. And then so that clicked the conversations.
Between you and Jesse?
Yes.
And it sounds like you were offering him like your support through that process.
I try to be there as much as I can.
Now, I want to turn your attention to why we're here today. Okay. Do you remember when you found out about what had happened?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where you were?
Yes.
Okay. Did somebody tell you or call about that?
want me to tell you how I found out?
Yeah.
I was at home, barely coming out from work. I'm an animal control officer in the city of Delhi. So I got out of work, and then my wife got a phone call that all this stuff was going on here in San Antonio. So my wife and my sister-in-law, I believe it was my sister-in-law, they drove to San Antonio within minutes. Plus, they behind with my kids. Okay.
And at some point, did somebody tell you that Jesse had shot 2 police officers?
Yes, sir.
And when you heard that he had shot 2 police officers,
Yes.
what was your reaction?
I was in disbelief.
Why were you in disbelief?
Yeah, that's not him.
How do you know that's not him?
Based on all the years of relationship, he never showed me that.
So is it safe to say that when you heard, you were in shock, like that was
Yes,
something
sir.
that took you by total surprise?
Yes, sir. I was totally shocked.
So you're here today testifying on behalf of Jesse. And I want to ask you, I mean, you know he shot 2 police officers, right?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that what he did, there's an excuse to that? Do you think that there's something that excuses his actions?
No, sir.
Do you think that he should be held accountable for what he did?
Yes, sir.
Why are you here today testifying in support of Jesse, despite knowing what you know that he did?
Because he's a good man.
And do you want the jury to know, from your perspective, in the years knowing him, about that?
Yes.
And you mentioned you're his brother-in-law. You're not blood brothers with him, but you become close in his family, like close to all the members of the family.
Yes, sir.
And would you be here if, let's just say, hypothetically, there was a different family member who you knew to be not a good person? Would you be here testifying for that person?
No.
Who passed, Judge?
State.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez. Excuse me. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Thank you. You mentioned that you're an animal control officer in Dilley.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that mean that you work closely with law enforcement
Yes.
In
Very
your-
close.
in your hometown?
Yes.
Okay. Are you friends with police officers that, I mean, we're talking about this case, you know, the people that he shot are actual law enforcement officers.
Mhm.
Are you friends with law enforcement officers in
Yes.
Dilley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If someone that you didn't know, someone who's a total stranger to you, did what the defendant did
Mhm.
to Officer Swain and Officer Viscara,
Mhm.
what would you think is an appropriate punishment for that person? Nearly killing a police officer and shooting them 17 times in the chest,
Mhm.
well, aiming at them.
I would object to the state's the evidence, Judge.
All right, that'll be sustained.
I'll rephrase you. If you knew some police officers who were shot at
Mhm.
17 times, and the offender intentionally aimed at their chest and nearly killed those officers, what would you think is an appropriate punishment for someone that you didn't know personally who had done that?
Whatever the justice system demands for it.
I'm asking your personal opinion. Would you think that person deserves probation?
I would object to ask and answer, Judge.
Overruled. You can answer the question.
You repeat it again, please.
Would you think a person who did that on purpose deserves probation?
No.
Would you think a person who did that on purpose deserves 5 years?
Here, the courtroom tension peaks as the prosecution challenges character testimony. The witness is pressed on accountability, risk, and punishment. Despite acknowledging the seriousness of the crime, he stands firm. This moment underscores the trial's central conflict, balancing justice for victims with the complicated humanity of the accused.
Would you think that they deserve much more time than that?
Perhaps, yes.
You said that the reason that it shocked you that he had done this, that you were in disbelief, is because what you know of him is him being a good man, and there's no history of him doing anything that would indicate he could do this. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Given that there is no real history and that he jumped from 0 to 100, basically, how confident can you be that he's not capable of doing this again?
I'm sure.
But you were sure before he would have never done it, right?
Mhm.
And then he did it. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So how sure can you be that he will never do it again?
100% sure.
But you were 100% sure before, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and he still did it, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned church, and I just want to make sure I understand the timeline. At what point did Jesse and you have conversations about him getting back into his Christianity and going back to the church?
Before the October.
Before the shooting?
Yeah.
Was it after his brother's passing, or was it before his brother's passing?
After.
Okay. How about before Monette and him separated, or after Monette and him separated?
We had frank conversations about it too.
Okay. So I guess just for timeline purposes, would you say that the conversations about it happened maybe in between his brother's passing and the separation of him and Monette?
Yeah, in that time, yes.
Okay. And were you personally aware of him actually doing what y'all talked about? Going back to church, attending services, was he doing those things at the time?
Yes.
Okay. So he was going to church, engaging with his faith,
Mm-hmm.
and then he still did this.
Yes.
You mentioned that he seemed depressed to you a couple times. I just want to be clear. You're not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, correct?
That's correct.
So you don't have any training in when somebody is actually medically diagnosed with depression.
Yes.
So that's more of like a layperson's opinion, is he seemed kind of down and sad.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. It sounds like this all kind of began after his brother passed away. Is that fair?
Is that fair? Yes.
Okay. Is he close to his mother?
Yes.
Very close?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to die eventually, right?
Pardon me?
She's going to pass away at some point, isn't she?
Yes.
Potentially before him.
To me.
Right. And he's very close to her.
Yes.
So if we know how he reacted to his brother's passing, it's fair to say that when his mom passes, that could significantly affect him, couldn't it?
Yes.
Is he close to his other siblings? Your wife?
Kind of. Yes.
Kind of? Not as close as he is to his mother?
No. And of course, the mother relationship is different.
Sure. But she's not going to be around forever.
That's correct.
And we've seen what he does when he is affected by a traumatic loss. Now, you said that he's a good man. Do you think that a good man, after nearly killing 2 police officers 2 or 3 weeks later, would joke on a phone call with a friend about how he's $1 million weapon?
I would object, Judge. Mischaracterization of the evidence, also relevance for this witness.
All right, the objection will be overruled.
Do you think a person who nearly kills 2 police officers within weeks of that incident would joke with a friend on a jail call about he's $1 million weapon?
I think that's correct.
I'm asking if you think somebody would make that joke if they're a good man and they feel bad for nearly killing 2 police officers.
I don't know.
Nothing further on.
Defense.
Briefly, Judge. the state was asking you questions about what you think is appropriate in this kind of situation.
Mhm.
And you were, your first answer was whatever the justice system thinks is appropriate. Remember saying that?
Yes,
And here we have a jury of 12 members who are deciding Jesse's sentence. Do you think they're the appropriate people to decide this?
yes,
Because they're the people of the community
yes,
and they've heard all the evidence, including, now beginning with you, evidence of Jesse's character. Is that why you're here?
yes,
And do you think the jury should consider Jesse's character and his whole life leading up to this moment before they make their decision?
yes,
Is that what you basically were trying to say as far as what you think is appropriate?
that's correct.
I pass the witness, Judge.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excused by defense.
Same, Your Honor.
All right, if you will remove the microphone, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone until this trial has concluded, and you're not allowed to view anything either. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may step down. Defense, call your next witness.
Defense calls Jamie Rodriguez.